Hey Beans! Animal Jam is full of so many cool little facts and details and Easter eggs and fun things that they throw in that you may not catch just playing the game. So this Did You Know series is dedicated to showing you all these crazy little things you may not know about Animal Jam that will actually be really cool or might help you in your day-to-day playing of the game. So here are some of the coolest facts about Animal Jam that I've learned this week. First up, I'm sure you know when you go to the best guest party that there are a lot of little things that change from the normal game. Everything looks a little different, everything's a little weird, but did you know that one aspect of that was actually from the beta? That's right, the little bar at the bottom where you can type and chat and do your emoticons and things like that is actually the exact same one that was in the beta. It's just missing the change your look icon and the switch your animal icon. So I find this really fascinating that Animal Jam actually reused the old bar from the beta. So what do you know, maybe there are more things that Animal Jam has hidden throughout the game that were actually straight from the beta. Next up, we have a little conspiracy from my good friend Asabeth, who's going to tell us today who Captain Melville really was. Well, Captain Melville himself, as far as we know, was not a real person, but he's probably based off of Herman Melville, who was a very important 19th century American writer who wrote a lot of seafaring tales and crazy romantic stuff about tales, stuff that happened to him, and stuff that happened to other people, like his famous tale, Moby Dick. And of course, in all those tales, there are big ships, and there are captains and things like that, so it's most likely that Animal Jam took one of the captains from his ships, or just his love of captains and ships and seafaring adventures in general, and mixed it with his name to get Captain Melville. And the other part of the theory that she submitted is that, well, captains like to drink certain types of drinks that may or may not be totally appropriate for Animal Jam. And so it's likely that Animal Jam took this stereotype about sailors and replaced it with juice instead of the other drink that a lot of them drink. And so that's why we get Captain Melville's Juice Hut right off the shore. And here's a really cool fact about the adventures. If you're a flying animal, you start off as level 1, whereas when you're a ground animal, you start off at level 0. That's because when you're a ground animal, you have to do the training to get to level 1, whereas flying animals are automatically level 1 in order to do their flying adventures. So basically, technically, when you get an animal, it's level 0 unless it's a flying animal. And here's a little thing Animal Jam kind of forgot. This is from Slime Girl 1. This is part of a weird little thing about the underwater land right next to Crystal Sands. When you go down the ladder, you can see the place where the flamingo is standing, but you can't see the flamingo. But when you go into Crystal Sands, you can see the place where the flamingo is standing, and obviously the flamingo is standing there. But when you go underwater, the flamingo just totally disappears. And it also makes no sense how the flamingo could stand there, because you can see the rock in the background, but there's just more water underneath it. So there's nowhere that flamingo could be standing. And that's not just where it stops. There are some other really weird things about the interaction between these two lands. This is from F3NN3X. Basically what happens is, when you spawn into Crystal Sands, which sometimes you do, you spawn in the water. But if you look at the map really closely, you'll notice that the water land next to it actually cuts into that part. So when you're spawning in Crystal Sands, you're actually spawning in the water and not actually in Crystal Sands. And a fun little fact about the new adventure that Animal Jam threw in. When you go into the bunnies only area, well, there's a little bunny soap opera playing. And the most important, useful tip from this video is how to figure out a new Jammer's username. I'm going to give you two ways. One is really annoying, and one is pretty convenient, but I'm not sure it works anymore. So this way, I know works, for sure nowadays. You know how when you send someone a certain number of jamograms, it says, you can't send any more jamograms today, you're done, stop spamming. Well, it actually shows their username when you do that. But when you spam a new jammer a lot, 25 jamograms I believe it is, when it shows up and says you can't send any more jamograms to this person, it doesn't say to this new jammer. It will give you their actual username, so that later if you friend a new jammer and then forget their username, you can look up that username and then add them on that username. But that new jammer might not want to add you afterwards because you sent them 25 jamograms, and that's a little annoying. And there is a way that used to work, but Animal Jam actually patched, where you could have a buddy go into the new jammer's den, and then when you went to follow that buddy from the follow buddy tab, it would tell you what the den name was. It would say follow this person to Fuzzy Bunny 2295's den instead of to New Jammer's den. And I like to throw in random little moments, fun things from Animal Jam into these videos, but this person actually got over 130,000 on Longshot. That's very difficult. If anyone can break this, I will gladly feature you in a video, but if you get scores like this, just send them in. That's so impressive. Next up, we have a little bit of a conspiracy from Bamboo Carver. This is a really cool one, and it's about exactly how tall Mount Sevier is. So we all know that the rooms in Animal Jam are each based off of continents. Like Kimbara Outback is obviously supposed to be Australia, Appendale is obviously supposed to be Africa, and you know where this is going. So most people think it's kind of hard to figure out where some of these things take place. Well, it's actually pretty simple when you really break it down, because we have the journey books that actually tell us the species names of the animals. So you can go onto your journey book and look at all of the animals there, and then look them up online and see where they are found. And actually, all of the animals in Mount Sevier are found in Asia. What do you know? So that pretty much guarantees that Mount Sevier is supposed to be based in Asia. But let's compare Mount Sevier to other famous mountains in Asia. But not just Asia. We actually can see that all of the animals in Mount Sevier's journey book are from China. Well, the mountain that Mount Sevier appears to be most similar to is called Mount Gonga, and actually that mountain is at 24,790 feet in elevation at its peak, which tells us that Mount Sevier is probably between 24,000 and 25,000 feet in elevation, because we can see that it snows all year round, but it's in China, so it may be a little less than 27,000 feet. And a fun little fact, lynxes do not have the XI pattern. I'm not kidding. You can't put XIs on a lynx. And unfortunately, I don't have a dragon glove, so I can't show you this, but actually, normal dragon gloves do 27 damage to phantom obstacles and adventures. But the real dragon glove will actually do 35 damage. Who knew? And Ichibatsu has a very cool Animal Jam Play Wild Easter egg that those of you who are hardcore Play Wild Animal Jammers may already know, but those of you who stick to the browser version or don't play Wild that much probably won't. If you go to the little customize your animal screen, you can spin your animal all you want, it's fun, but if you actually spin it around 10 times without stopping, well, your animal gets dizzy, and what's very funny is that dizzying animation is actually different for every single animal. That is a hardcore Easter egg. Thank you, Animal Jam. Unfortunately, the person who sent me this did not attach their username, but I will put it in the description if they are willing to step forward and provide proof that this was them. But basically, in Animal Jam's second Parade of Dens video, they walked past this mysterious chalkboard item that had some writing on it. And if you really pay attention to the Animal Jam lore, and you know a lot, you'll realize that this is Tiger script. And this has showed up a few times in Animal Jam, but it's actually decodable. Animal Jam has given a code for us to use where we can basically decode Tiger script. It's just English, but they switched the letters into symbols. It's really not that complicated if you just know where it is and what to look for in the first place. So this person found it and knew what to look for, so they went ahead and decoded it. And it says, "Welcome to class, this is Tiger script," which is really interesting because this means that tigers are a huge force in Jamaa. Well, the people that are ruling over a country always control what language people speak, or at least what language is spoken in schools and official government buildings and places like that. So this could be some sort of like weird alternate language, or maybe they speak English primarily, but they're introducing them to Tiger script. But then they wouldn't write "welcome to class" on the board, would they? If they didn't speak Tiger script, they wouldn't need to write "welcome to class." And if they already spoke Tiger script, well, they wouldn't have to say "this is Tiger script." So this must mean that this person is trying to demonstrate Tiger script and expects these people to already know Tiger script, but maybe not know what it looks like. And then they can go through and decode it and like sound it out or whatever. So it must be the tigers once originally ruled Jamaa, and were therefore like in control of all the schools and things like that. And what's even spookier is, it seems that there may have been other animals who controlled at other points, because there are lots of other secret little languages and weird codes scattered all throughout Jamaa. There are some in the Chamber of Knowledge, and there are some in Brady Barr's laboratory, but Animal Jam has not provided codes for these languages yet, so we don't exactly know what these say. But it's still very cool in my opinion that we have secret languages hidden in Animal Jam, and that's the video. So anyways, Beans, thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned a little something, and I hope you use some of these tricks. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye!